My name's Judy Hardy. I'm the what's called the personal tutor for all students on the MSc, which is the name we use here for what you might know as your academic advisor. I'm also the course organizer for a couple of courses on the MSc. In fact, ones Adam mentioned for the project preparation course and also for the dissertations, which this year's students are just coming to the end of. Their hand-in deadline is indeed tomorrow. It's tomorrow. So what I'd like to do is spend just a few minutes, and it will just be a very few minutes, just quickly reminding you of some of the things that you need to think about either before you get here or when you first arrive, and also just to point you up to some of the things that will be going on here in Freshers Week. And then, of course, I'm happy to answer any questions. And pretty much everything that I'm going to say or that I'm going to point you to on the slides is encapsulated in this slide that I'm showing you now, which is the university website for new students. And you'll see here, if you've not looked at this already, you'll see there's a whole stack of information about events that are on, about how to register, about accommodation, about fees, immigration, and so on and so forth. So if you have questions about what you need to do or indeed anything else, have a look there. By all means, email us. I would suggest Crystal is probably the best person to speak to about these things, because the rest of us will almost certainly ask her if the questions come to us. But that's also a very good place to look. So let me see if I can get on to the next one. So this is just really going through some of the information that's on that website. There are a number of checklists there, and here are some of the key things to check, most of which I hope are fairly self-evident about travel documents, accommodation, and so forth. But you will find useful information about, for example, how to register, or in Edinburgh terminology, matriculation, which is essentially the same thing as registration, about paying your fees, visas and immigration, and so forth. And you'll also find there information on the semester dates and on the various types of support that we have for students who are new to the university. In terms of matriculation, as I say, that this is a process by which you become a fully registered or fully matriculated student at the university. There are a number of steps involved. You clearly have to have what we call an unconditional firm offer, and I've been asked again by Crystal to remind you that you need to check that you've fulfilled all the conditions for admission, and that usually means at this stage there might be one or two outstanding documents that you need to upload before your offer can be converted from a conditional to an unconditional. So if you could check that, and if you have anything outstanding, then just get that uploaded as soon as you can, please, so that we can get on with all the formalities. And again, the registration form, which is a postal form, your student card, which will be very important, both in terms of letting you into various university labs and buildings, getting books out of the library, possibly even getting discounts at various shops in town, I'm not sure, is also very important. When you actually arrive, you may need to go in person to matriculate if you have financial things to sort out, if you haven't received your registration form, or if you haven't received your student card. At one time, I believe all students had to go to Adam House to matriculate, and the queue, Adam here, who was an undergraduate, is nodding his head in memory of those times. I think the queues used to go on for hours and hours. I don't think that's the case anymore. But you'll see here there are a couple of specific slots in Freshers Week that have been reserved for students in science engineering, which you are. You are actually students in in EPCC, which is an institute in the School of Physics and Astronomy, which is a school within the College of Science and Engineering, which is one of the 3 colleges in the university. So there are some slots there reserved for science and engineering students. If you go at those times, that should minimise any delay, although I do notice that one of them clashes with our induction session. You can go any time the following week, and indeed you can, I probably shouldn't say this, but you can gate crash at other times during Freshers Week. People won't refuse to serve you. It's just that you'll find yourself with the majority of people from humanities and social sciences. And then after you've done all of that, or as part of all of this process, we also have to confirm your attendance, which you do by appointment with your personal tutor, in other words, with me. And I will make arrangements with you to do this. And also, one of the other important things that we have to do is to confirm your choice of courses for the taught part of the MSc. You'll get more information about all of this in our Freshers Week induction session. Again, this is just pointing you up to the information you need about fees. I can't really say a great deal about this other than just point you to this slide, that there are a variety of ways you can pay. If you do have some sort of sponsorship or scholarship or some sort of loan, you do have to bring your confirmation letter. I believe that's quite important. There's also information here about opening a bank account. That if you need to open a UK, well, if you hear you will need a UK bank account, you can get your introduction letter. If you're in university accommodation, you can print that directly from MyEd, which I guess you will all be familiar with by now. If you're not in university accommodation, you need to request it, but that can all be arranged for you. So I'm just zipping through this quite quickly because I suspect you've probably had most of this information already. Accommodation, those of you who are in university accommodation, you can check in from Saturday the 8th of September, and irrespective of which university accommodation you're in, you'll need to go to Pollock Halls, which is the biggest hall of residence that we have. This is where most of our undergraduate students are, although not the majority, I would say, of our postgraduate students. But you will need to go to Pollock Halls to pick up your key and can then go on to your own accommodation. I believe that the reception at Pollock is 24 hours for picking up your key, I think. Yeah, it is. It is in Freshers Week. Good. I thought it must be because people will be arriving at all times. And again, there's information there on how to apply for council tax exemption if you're in private accommodation. That's if you're resident in Edinburgh, you do normally have to pay council tax, which is the local tax, but students or full-time students are exempt from that. But you have to tell the council and you have to provide this information in order to become exempt from it. If you don't have accommodation, then don't despair. Accommodation services will be able to help. There are also many, many private landlords in Edinburgh because it's got a very big student population. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 universities in Edinburgh, I believe. So there is a large amount of student accommodation here, and people do find accommodation, even the people who arrive looking. So, right. The last thing I wanted to mention was Freshers Week. This is the week where there's a huge variety of events on, arranged by the university, arranged by USA, which is our Students' Association or Students' Union, or students who are from countries other than the UK. There are also a lot of events put on by the International Office for students who are coming to the UK perhaps for the first time. So you'll find stacks of things going on from all the many, many clubs and societies will be putting events on. There's an awful lot on that week, as well as all the various introductory welcome events going on in the schools and in the colleges. Our own induction is the 12th and the 13th of September. I don't think you've yet had the information about what that will be, although you'll be getting that very soon. But I can just tell you that it will be from 10 o'clock on the morning of the 12th, Wednesday the 12th, through to around 3 o'clock on the Wednesday. So it will be most of the day on Wednesday, and then again for a couple of hours on Thursday morning. And we do check to make sure that we don't clash with other things that are essential for you to go to. So, it should be possible to fit everything in. On the Wednesday, we will be giving you, introducing you to various people who are involved with the MSc, talking a little bit more about the MSc, about the way the program is organised, and so on. We'll have a talk about ways that you might start thinking about careers opportunities. I realise that's early before you've even really started work on the programme, but we're also very well aware that as MSc students, you're just here for the 1 year, and you need to start thinking about these sorts of things quite early on. In the afternoon, we'll also have sessions which are quite important if you can come to it's worth coming to all of it, but these are quite important. We'll be setting you up with your various computer accounts. You will have a variety of computer accounts when you get here. You'll have an account, you already have an account on the central university systems, which enable you to access all of the various computer labs around the university. We also have our own computing system in the school, which will give you access to our particular computing labs. You will then also have access computing accounts on the HPC systems, in particular, as Adam just mentioned, Hector. And in that afternoon, we'll make sure that those accounts are set up for you and that they're working correctly. You actually have to apply yourself for Hector accounts, but we'll get that done on the Wednesday. And then on the Thursday morning, we have two sessions. One is to check that your HPC account, that your Hector account, and so on, should have been set up for you by that time, and to check that that's all working and that you can get logged on and that you know the very basics about how to submit a job and so on. The idea being that when you actually start the MSc the following week, you're up and ready to go with actually learning the material that you're here to learn. We'll also have a session on selecting your optional courses. So we'll have a few people along to talk about the various courses that are on offer to you, that are optional courses. So I think that's pretty much all that I had to say. I'm very happy to answer questions, and I look forward to seeing you all, actually, pretty soon, in the not